Andy Hamilton. I'm also known as my Tarpit, which is kind of my graffiti name from days of old. I'm from Bangor, up in Northern Ireland, and I paint weird paintings on found paintings, I suppose would be the description I would do it. And it started off as a bit of fun, and it's kind of gathered momentum. People like it, people commission them, and I've sold them all over the world now, so yeah. I grew up on a diet of comic books, Saturday morning cartoons, that kind of thing. And as soon as I realised that I had a knack for drawing, I would copy the styles out of the comic books and stuff. And the colours were the things that I loved most about it. And graffiti is a way of getting really bright colours really quickly on whatever surface you want to do. Back when I started in the sort of mid-80s, you had to get your cans from car body shops and stuff, so there weren't any caps. I kind of used them as ways of just putting big blocks of colour on, and then I would maybe paint with house paint over the top of it and stuff. Those are the only kind of materials I could get my hands on, so yeah, graffiti in its loosest possible sense, yeah. Homemade DIY graffiti, I think. A lot of people have a love-hate thing for the Banksyism of it all, but I mean, without him, galleries like this might not exist. I mean, we've had to go over to LA to exhibit and stuff because you can sell work over there. And it's great now that maybe that was, say, 4 years ago now, over in Ireland, there are people collecting your work. There are galleries who want to show your work. You know, it wasn't that long ago that, I mean, especially around sort of Belfast, graffiti was stuff that got cleaned off bridges. You know, the fact that people put it in their living room was just like this abstract concept, you know. I went to art college back in 91 or 92, and I was told that I could not do cartoons in art college. I would fail. I wouldn't even get past the first year. So I had to go into print, which I still love, but I kind of realized that the art world was very sniffy about things that were out of the box kind of thinking. I mean, the galleries in Belfast are very fine art oriented, very landscape. You have to almost be kind of nurtured into getting into those galleries, and they support your work and stuff, but it is straight out of art college, very traditional stuff. And the thing I love about graffiti and underground art is you don't need anybody's permission. I mean, it takes a hell of a lot of gumption and belief in yourself to go up to a wall and put your drawing on a wall for everybody to see, you know? And I love that about it. It's that immediacy, that kind of, you know, now it's obviously, I'm not encouraging people to do anything illegal, but now, you know, city councils have set aside walls that people can just go up and put their images on it, and you can kind of bypass all that. I think it's one of the hardest things to do with art is to make people smile and enjoy it. It's the easiest thing in the world to shock or to paint my dark blue period when I was writing poetry because my girlfriend dumped me kind of thing, you know. But to have people come into a gallery and just go, hey, oh, that's brightened my day kind of thing. I think that's all I really want to do. And I think if that's people's first point of contact with art is I have it on my wall because it makes me smile, then job done, you know. I mean, these paintings here, the whole reason they came about was I would just see them in charity shops and thrift stores for like, you know, 5, 10 quid. A lot of them are prints on canvas and stuff, and they just reminded me of the old Saturday morning cartoons where you would have these elaborate painted backgrounds and then like Tarzan would be running across them and stuff. So I just started buying them and using them as an experiment to put my characters kind of back into these paintings, because a lot of them are what we know as the Bob Ross School of Art. And he would teach you how to do a painting, and you would use your palette knife to do the alpine mountains, you would use this brush to do the alpine trees, and every single one of them is exactly the same composition. There's a river runs through the middle of it. There's a little chalet house, and you know, people just seem to have learnt that technique and knock out hundreds of these bizarre alpine paintings of places that don't actually exist. So I just snap them up and put my characters in the middle of them, you know. Sometimes you look at them and you just think, I know exactly what needs to go on that. Like a David Bowie stag horse guy with his hot pants on. It's obvious, really. I've been given paintings before that are original oils that I've been uncomfortable, and I've said no, I won't do it, because you know I'm not here to be an art critic. A lot of these are photographic prints on canvas. There's a few originals, but the originals I do paint on are those generic Bob Ross. You know, I can tell them now. You know, you see them all over the place, so I know they're kind of either practice paintings or, you know, if I hadn't bought it for €5, it would have been in a skip. So, but I'd be very reluctant to paint over somebody's cherished landscape. I think that would make me feel uneasy. Traditional galleries work on a kind of a certainty basis, whereas they have a client list that they know will buy those paintings. So it's really hard to get into them. Whereas what Alexa, when I first met her, it was 2 years ago, she was just really interested in pushing the kind of underground artists that she knew to the forefront, because a lot of the stuff that you'll see in the White Lady gallery is done to such a high quality. It's really top-notch stuff. And having been around LA and New York and stuff, you go into these galleries and it just opens your eyes to a whole different way of presenting your work, of being maybe a wee bit more professional about your attitude in your work, and to find these galleries now on your doorstep that are willing to, you know, you come on the opening night, there's a DJ playing a set, you know, maybe a free drink here or there. I've never really been involved before. I've always been sort of here, there and everywhere, but to actually be in the middle of it in Dublin is just like a unique experience. So what we're going to do is give people a unique experience when they come into the gallery. As well as talking about the stuff on the walls, I have several small blank canvases that I'll be drawing characters on, and enlarging them maybe onto some paintings, and maybe getting some feedback from people to see what they would like on the canvases and stuff. I'll also be talking about, I've got a new webcomic coming out, Digital Crumbs, and we've pinned some of the artwork from that on the wall. And again, I'd like to, you know, talk to people about it and explain, you know, if anybody has any questions about how you go about putting artwork online and stuff like that. So it's kind of a drop-in art shop kind of thing. Because the one thing this gallery isn't is a kind of, there's no barriers. You know, we want people to come in and share the space and talk about art and ask any questions they want, you know. So that's what we're going to do on Culture Night. I mean, there's some art galleries that, you know, I could walk around Dublin and I'd be scared to go into, because there is that level of like, you got to know your stuff. It's almost like, you know, I don't want to ask any stupid questions, but the thing is there aren't any stupid questions. You know, when you got to start somewhere. We've done sessions with like 13, 14-year-old kids, and they've gone off now and they're going great guns, and they're putting it on computers, and you know, they're the guys who are going to put me out of a job, but I don't care. I'd rather see it, you know, art becoming something that is part of people's everyday lives rather than sort of put up on a pedestal. Yeah.